Thank you for stopping back by the shop this week. We are back with our 10K bike giveaway. Paint by Spears called me up and said, man, I'm almost done. Get ready. So we got to get ready. We've got to do something about this horrific wiring. I want to keep it close to stock as I can, but we got to reroute some things, clean it up, get it where it needs to be. I don't want to give this away like this. So we're going to have a ton of fun in this video of getting this wiring back together. We're going to go over every part, how it works, and how it's wired. So welcome back to Butler Customs Motorcycle Shop. I've had a crazy week. This is the only day I have to film. So we just got to do it. I don't know how far we'll get because I also got to take into account the downloading of the video, the editing of it, the audio, all that, uploading it. You know, I got to keep that stuff in mind. It's not just out here wrenching now. It's filming and editing and uploading and all the YouTube stuff, which I'm happy about. I'm glad that our shop now is a YouTube shop. It's pretty cool, but we gotta get on it. I do not like how they ran everything in a headlight, like on the old Hondas and stuff. We've got an aftermarket headlight that Spears is painting as well, and I can't wait to see his artwork. So I want this bike to be ready so that when the artwork gets here, we can throw the tank on, throw the rear fender on, throw the battery cover on, throw the tank on, headlight, front fender, and we can go. And we can actually start promoting this 10K giveaway. So the giveaway has not started yet. I know a lot of you folks are asking about this. It's not started. I will not start the giveaway until the bike is complete. I want to put a couple of miles on it, you know, just make sure. Then we can list it. We got the pictures, and I'll tell you how to enter in. It's going to be super easy. I hope by the end of this video, we've got everything wired in, we've got it routed where it needs to be, and we've checked everything. Rear light, turn signal, all the doodads and whatnots of high beam, neutral, turn signals, oil pressure, all that stuff. Checking all of our switches does all that work. We have really good back brakes. I've not checked the front brakes out yet. I don't know if we want to tackle that right now because we're doing kind of just wiring. And I don't want to chopper wire this bike. I want to leave it kind of as stock as I can for the reason that whoever wins this might live in a state that requires certain things like turn signals and other stuff. So I want to try to kind of get it back stock as we can. I am going to be moving some components like all this junction stuff in this headlight. I'll show you. We got a ton of room back here. Yeah, the oil tank's going on, and the rear fender comes up here, and the battery comes in over here. But underneath this seat here, there's nothing. So we've got room to put some stuff that would usually be in the headlight. Enough jawing, let's just get right into it. All right, let me walk you around this just to show you some things that we've got to be changing. A lot of it is just cleaning up. So just cleaning up all this loose stuff, loose wires, bundling it all together. It does still have the stock harness on it here, which we can utilize, and it's good. But some things that I got to change. We got to route our rectifier wire a little bit different and a little bit better, safer. We got to get rid of this. I don't know why. It's like an old tractor key. You put it in and then you turn it like to on, and then you turn it to crank it. But our starter button does work. So we don't need this big monstrosity. We're going to get rid of this. And I had in my toolbox of switches this. It is a Harley switch, and it did come with a key. So I got to test this to see if this is good or not, because I don't know why I have it. You know, it should be on a bike if it's good. I don't know. So we'll test it. Another thing, I've got to look at a bracket that's going to fit for the tank and petcock. I don't think this is the bracket that came on this 90 Sportster, but I'm hoping to dig around and find one. But now, understand, we can do that later. It's not a wiring issue, but we do need to address it and change it. Up here is our biggest mess and our biggest issue. We have a lot of junctions in here that are just connectors. Not only that, when you set this up where it's supposed to be like this, you can see all these wires are twisted. They're just like twisted over. We're going to get rid of that. Also, in my hastiness, I ran the wiring outside of the fork. Not cool, so we got to fix that. The speedometer we've got to address, but we can do that later when we put the tins on. I think it's just this not screwing in all the way and getting the twisty cable up in there good to actually turn the speedo. I'm thinking and I'm hoping that that's it. We might hook the VOES back up and get rid of this and run the... No, we can't because we got a gravity fed petcock. Never mind. We're going to leave the VOES unhooked. We do got to set the timing. Of course, we might wait and do that when we got the tank on the bike so we can run the bike. The bike ran great. It's got great compression. We got to hook up our brake switch for the rear. We're hoping that works. And the brake switch for the front, I'm hoping that works as well. Another reason for swapping this out is a place to mount this. We could make a little bracket here, but I don't like it sticking out so far. We can't put it through there. I really don't even know. That hole's wallered out. Not sure what that hole was for. It looks like it's almost threaded. So what I want to do, I don't have the battery tray in right now, and these cables are super short, and I don't want the battery just hanging. So I might run some jumper cables from here to here, and then here to here, just when we're testing stuff. We're not going to fire the bike up or anything. We just got to wire our headlights. We got to get rid of all this junk here, clean it up, make it nice and clean, reroute everything to run in here and down through here, tying into our main harness here that's going to be under the tank, zip tied up to here, off the head. Okay, that goes to our dyno. We're going to keep that. So we're just going to bundle this up together, hide it real good, run it back in here, clean up all around here. All this mess is going to get cleaned up here. I do want to check my mechanical fuses because I swapped these out with the other harness that come up here with all the stuff. And I don't know if I got my copper ends on the right end or not. So I want to check that. And then we got to run some wires for our rear light. So I want to go dig the rear light out. I'm going to go dig the headlight out so we can plug that up. There's our headlight plug there. Okay, so where do we start? Where do we start? Let's start with this key here and get this out of the way. Figure out where we're going to mount this because we'll probably have to build a bracket for this somewhere up here off of the coil. Usually on Sportsters, the bracket is over here. We could put it up here, something like that. Build us a little bracket that slides over this. It's cut out for this. And then it screws down on that. We could do that. We could put this key, anywhere we wanted to. If we wanted to put it somewhere down here, if we wanted to make a bracket down here to put the key, that might look pretty good right there. We could bolt on to here, but now remember, we're changing this. But whatever we change it, we can, make another bracket or move it around. So for right now, until I can find the new thing that goes on this, the proper one, we might just leave it hanging with some slack. But let's test this. See if this is good or not. I've got the key so we can test on it. And if I know I got a good switch, we can start cutting this off. Hooking power up and testing what's our main feed, what goes out. Because if you remember, we had a main feed in, a main feed out. But then this whole side right here never got power to it, no matter how you turn the key. So we're going to need to, look at our schematics of where this goes and this green wire. I really love these workstations that these wonderful members of our YouTube channel sent me. I've already been putting them to use. Sorry. All right, here's our wiring diagram that we're going to be using. As you can see here, we do have a 1990 Sportster. You say, well, why are you using a 1991 to 1993 wiring diagram? Well, because the wiring harness that we pulled off or grabbed out of a box was a 1992 harness. I'm pretty sure. But it should be kind of similar on really all Sportsters. So that's what we're going to be using as a guide. Now, I've used this in the past, just chopper wiring things. But now we're ready to test this switch out. And I got a new mic. a DJI Mic 3, brand new. They just come out. And so I hope that the audio is good. Now, I'm not one to just buy the newest and the fanciest if something comes out, especially if my old one is working. But I accidentally dropped my DJI Mic 2 and it busted on my shop floor. And I might have to buy me a new one of these because it acts wonky, especially when I turn the light on. And it only acts wonky on the horseshoe. There we go, testing our leads. So on this switch, I do have the key for it. It does work. It's got a 1 position and a 2nd position. So let's see what we're working with here. I have a suspicion that this was in my drawer for a reason. Unless it was a bike we were just chopper wiring and we wanted just a, little flip switch and a push button start. Here, the solid red should be from battery. So then with the key out, I shouldn't have anything here and I shouldn't have anything here. And I don't, so that's good. Black and red up. I'll put the key in, switch it on once, switch it on twice. Oh, okay, it's losing connection in there. That was on the 2nd position, the red and black. Let's try the red and gray. So let me squirt some PB Blast in there because it's kind of hard to twist. Sometimes that's all them old switches need to get going. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. 1, 2. 1, 2. All right. Let's try this again. Okay, should have nothing with the key out. 1 switch. 2 switch. Okay. It's finicky. Do I have something here? Yes. Okay. Now, if I go back to the 1st position, I should not have power out of both of these because one is a light. Okay, so this red and gray, I do not have power to. But if I switch it over to the 2nd position, I do, but I don't like how that is. Oh, let me look at the wiring diagram. That'd be smart to do, wouldn't it? Look, I'm not the sharpest crayon in the drawer, okay, or the roundest, the brokenest. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, where's my key switch? Key switch, key switch. I'll get you in here too. Maybe you can see. I don't know. Well, goodness gracious. Where's the... I'm chasing this all around here. Come on up here. Main fuse. Ignition switch. Okay, this is totally different. Should be a white wire, a green wire, and a red wire. So if the switch is good, we're just going to have to know where the white, green, and red hook up to, and then we're good. So what we've got here is a solid red. We've got a red and gray, and we've got a red and black. Okay, I don't like how this is acting. So let me look in the other wiring harnesses that come up, see if there's something a little better. Okay, I did find this in the box of wiring of parts, and it's already got the white, red, and the green kind of spliced in there. Of course, we'll be taking all this off because they seem really bulky. It's got those hard connectors in there I don't like and really gummy. But it does look like, according to this, the solid red is the red and black is the green for the lights, maybe. Yeah, that's for the lights. The green's for the lights. And then the white is our ignition. Runs up to a mechanical breaker there. Let me snip this off. Get rid of this. And why are you going crazy? So I'm hoping these connectors are good here. And I did try the key out of the other one and it worked in here. I don't think that these are serviceable. Maybe somebody knows how to do it. See how this cylinder is up to the top and smooth? And this one looks like all the little rollers in it have gone out. So I assume that's why this key works. Stick it in there. The only problem with that is that any key would work now. Anything you can stick in there to turn it would work. But let's see if this works any better. There we go. Now we'll get our red on here, which is power in. And then this should be our first key position, the white. That runs to our ignition. Okay, nothing. Let's try the green. Okay, so they've got this wired backwards. The first position should feed the coil, the ignition system, but they've got it hooked to the green that runs the lights. If I'm looking at my wiring diagram correctly, that's exactly what it does. It runs the lights. So I know that my red is hot in. So on this switch, the red and black should feed the white. Now, if I move this over here, which this should be the green wire, there's nothing on the first switch. And then you go again and you have lights. Okay, and this is the red and gray, should be green. So we're snipping these off because they do have these wired backwards. Well, you can't ever trust anybody's wiring, and it does have those crimp connects, which I hate. And we got a lot of room on this one. I like that. All right, we got our main red in. That's from our battery. Red and black. There's the key out. We got nothing. I turn the key on once. We have ignition. Turn the key to the second position. We should keep ignition. Now, if I move this over to the black or the red and gray wire, then that should be our lights that come on our second position. Okay, so there's one, there's two. But I don't like all of the little needle bearings have fallen out of it. What do we do now? So the key cylinder in this is good. Something down here is bad. I see little tabs here. Can I just, oh, I can. Okay, now, be careful. Never done this before. Okay. So there's something here that's not letting that connect. A little tab thing there with a little spring. That comes off. You got a little spring under that. And you got a little tab thing with a smaller spring. Okay. Then you got another spring in there. Or does this have to come out to get that out? Maybe. But guess what we just did? We took this apart. Let me take the other one apart and see if it's an issue with this. Well, this is the bad one. Can we just take the other one, which is this one, which looks kind of the same, but a lot better shape. Can we just put that, snap that in? Let's try that. What do you think? Okay, so our spring goes back in. Never done this before, so I don't know how this works. Then we got our little spring with that goes in the big hole up here. Then we got this spring under here that goes on that. And then we'll get our nice connectors. Okay, so you're going to snap on that way, or do you snap on that way? I would say you snap on this way. Got to go this way, right? Okay, it's not wanting to go in that way. I don't know what I'm looking at. I ain't really got the time to be messing with this. Help me, Tom Cruise. Help me, Oprah Winfrey. I don't know what I'm doing. I know it ain't supposed to do that. Okay, get all this out. Oh, I'll never see that again. Okay, sorry about that. My camera died. I guess maybe I got it by this light and it's too hot, but I've got to run it on battery over here. I'm sorry. Anywho's in house, I figured it out. I got it working. So it was this that was bad, maybe worn out, grooved out. Don't know. But it worked. And I want to show you on the other switch what was wrong. But let's test it. Okay. We're going to go with red, solid red. That's power coming in. The key is in the off position. I'm going to go with red and black. That is our white going out to ignition. So one flip of this, we should hear a beep. Yes. And look, it's not cutting out on us anymore. One more switch, still. And it did not cut out between the two. Very good. Now I'll jump over to the white or the red and gray. And the red and gray is our lights. So this first switch, we should have nothing. Second switch is our lights, running lights. Yes. We did it. We repaired this switch. Oh, that is awesome. So there you go. We've got a repaired switch. So let me grab the other switch and show you what I was doing wrong. Never done this before. All the little roller bearings came out. This whole thing came out actually. So the little bearings fit in there for your key fitment to make the lock. Then you've got this little thing right here. All right, it just slides down in there like that. Then you've got a spring that goes in there. And you've got this. What I didn't realize is that this has a cutout right here that matches a cutout, a step up here. And so you've got to get that lined up where the cutout is. And then you got to get the key slot right here lined up with your key down here. And then once you do all that, so your key will actually sit in there like that. And then your slot will line up where it's supposed to. And it'll go all the way down. Of course, you'll have this spring. Let me go ahead and do that. You'll have this spring set over it as well. Okay. Just like that. Then you will have two different springs. They're the same size, but one is shorter. The shorter one goes in this little metal cap and goes up in the hole that's up here by itself. The longer spring goes down in here. Then this triangle thing, it's only one way really it'll fit. So when you push down, you should be able to push all the way down. Then you can take this and line it up to where these little cutouts on top, there's one there, one there, one there, one over here. They'll line up. And then you got your snap tabs that go in there. So you really just line them up to where they're all lined up. Just kind of look at it overhead. Okay, that's good. That's lined up. I didn't move anything. Then I can push this down here. So I got that side in. Then you can take something to push that tab down and then just make sure it sets down good. That's how that come apart, and that's how this went back together. So now we're good. I'm going to put the key in, switch it on so the key won't come out. So now we know what our wires are. Our red, solid red, goes to our power in. Our red and black goes to our ignition. Our red and gray then goes to our lights. So what we'll actually have from the wiring harness, and I do have a 1986 to 90 wiring harness, and as far as the ignition switch, they are the same. So what we'll have is the red wire coming into the red wire here, white wire coming into the red and black here, and the green wire coming in to the red and gray here. So what we can do at this time is go over to the bike and just kind of twist those together with the wires that we've got coming to that other switch. We can test it on the bike with the jumper cables hooked up to the battery. I know this seems like more of a mess than fixing the mess, but there's a method to my madness, or a madness to my method maybe. I don't know. Switch. I just got it zip tied up here so, it's not dangling around because the back is exposed. Plug the headlight in the front. I don't have my brake light. I do, but I don't have it wired up. So my brake light is grounded to the frame. So when we do test it, I'll have to put a ground on here. But it's grounded to the frame. Then, of course, you have a red and a green. So one will be the running light. One would be the brake light. But usually, if we got juice in the headlight, we can get juice back here. What I want to do, I don't want the bike to run. I just want to see if it'll crank. So I've got a ground wires hooked up here to my jumper cables, hots hooked up here, running straight to my battery. Make sure my leads on my battery are nice and good. All right, the key is off. If I go one switch and I hit that starter button, we should hear something. If the starter tries to crank, I don't know if it's going to crank with the way I got it, rigged up here. And I really don't want it to crank long. But we do need to check for spark. So hold on, before we do that, I'm going to turn the key off. I want to hear a crank and I want to see a spark. So let me get my spark jumper 3000. All right, so I do want to see if we got a good spark. Key on. Do the sniff test. Nothing sparking. Let's see if we got a crank. And I'm going to watch this right here too. You might not be able to see it. Yes. All right, we have spark. Now I want to go key over. I have no headlight. But I want to make sure I still have spark with the second position because with the running lights on, the bike has to keep running. Let's try it again. Yes, very good. Wonderful. So I've just got these twisted together, heat shrinked on, because I'm not certain where we want to run it yet. Do we want to mount it under here with the new bracket? Do we want to mount it on the other side? Do we want to mount it on that little, top hat of the headlight cover? It'd kind of be cumbersome there, but there's a lot of places we could put this. So I don't want to cut the wire short for here if we decide we want to run it over there. So I'm going to leave this for this right now. But our ignition key does work. I know we spent a lot of time on that daggum key. I told you not to. I told you to just come on. We don't have time to play around with the key switch, but you had to fix it. Now it's fixed. So the whole video might be about us fixing the key switch. I don't know. But that's done. All right, let me disconnect. Now I want to see why my headlight ain't coming on. That's important. I don't have dim. I don't have a low beam or a high beam. So now we're ready to get into our wiring schematics here. All this garbly goop. So let me go ahead. No, I want to leave those on because I got them kind of pretty secure. Oh, I see this right here burnt up bad. Exposed wire. Okay, we'll need to fix that. Okay, these little connectors here, there's two. This goes to our brake light. So it's a hydraulic brake switch. So when pressure's built up in that switch, makes a connection. So an easy thing to do for me would be to test, do I have power coming out of just one of these switches? And that'll tell me if I'm going to get brake lights or not. We're making progress. That's good. Okay, so since one of these two connectors should be getting power when the key is on, just in the first and second position, because that's the brake switch. So you want the brake switch light working even if you don't have the running lights on. So I got the cables hooked back up. I got my ground on my multimeter hooked to the battery and the jumper box. I'm going to go one switch. Now I should get a reading out of one of these. Okay, there's my 12 volts. It's the orange wire. There's an orange wire and a red wire. We should have, once we hook these two up to the switch, if the switch is working, then it will feed this red wire, turn it hot. And I got to trace it back here to hook into our brake light. But it is working out here. We do have to repair the wire, but it is working. Now, let's move up to the headlight. I want to get that working. I don't know if we'll be able to clean everything up today. I just don't know if I got time for that. This took a lot of time. But we can at least get everything operating and sit down and look at the wiring diagram of how we want everything ran out. Okay, and moving up here to all this just mess. There was a couple of black wires that had eyelets on them. I just ran it to this ground right here. Now I'm going to be redoing all this. But I wonder if that's why we were getting no power, both on low and high beam. I probably need to test this to make sure the light works. But now we might get something out of this up here. So let's see. One key. Hey, look. I've got lights on the speedo. Okay, I go a key over. I've got my high beam. Okay. Off. On. All right. My high beam switch is working. My neutral light and oil pressure light is not working. Now my oil pressure switch is not hooked up. My neutral light is not hooked up either, I would guarantee. Wonderful. So I'll turn my high beam back on, and you won't see that until I go to the lights. But look, it's illuminating. Yes, wonderful. Turn the key back off. That's great news. Now, why isn't my headlight working? Well, let's dig into that. All right, so what I want to do is try to hook on the ground somewhere. And actually, I want to unhook the light, see if we've got power coming up, and see if I got ground as well. So I've got an orange, a white, and a black. So my black's going to be my ground, some orange and my white. Let's start with the orange, or yellow, I'm sorry. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Let's start with the yellow. And I'm going to have to go two switches over. 1, 2. Okay, I've got nothing there. Let me go to high or low. Okay, there's low beam. So yellow is low beam. Very good. And then white should be my high beam. Okay, so I've got nothing on my high beam. Oh, no, sorry, I'm in the ground. There's my white. Okay, so my switch is working. That's my high beam. Okay, I turn that off from the white and I go over to the yellow and there's my low beam. So it's either a bulb issue or it's a ground issue. Now I can easily test that by just throwing another lead on here, stabbing it in the ground side, and that'll tell us real quick what's going on. Now my ground, okay, so I'm in the ground. So as you can see, there's no reading. Hold on. Do I still have the key on? Go back to high. Okay, so I still have no reading. Let me make sure my key's still on. Yeah, it is. So I'm getting no ground to my headlight. So this is such a mess. Oh, it's twisted and tangled and runs over here. Where do you go, ground? Okay, you grounded to the headlight and my headlight's not grounded. Wonder if I can plug it back in and see if I can ground the headlight housing. Can I get any kind of grounding out of you? No, sir, I can't. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is smoking? Ooh, what is smoking? It was smoking up here. What? Okay. We got to cut all this out. This is just too much of a mess. Way too much of a mess. And these wires back in here have been hacked on, chopped on, spliced together. All right, let me turn the key off. So we got no power. Something was toasty up in here. All right, so let's just start yanking on things. This is a blinker relay, flasher relay that we do not need because we got the Badlands one. Let me disconnect the battery just in case. Better safe than sorry's. That's what my mama always says. I don't even know how I'm gonna get all you out. Y'all might just have to live in there. So I'm just gonna have to do some surgery. Scalpel, forceps, tweezers. There, now we got this. Now I wanna test my theory that it was indeed just a bad ground. So I'm gonna take these two, tie them together with this one single white wire here. That runs it to my headlight switch. And now my yellow should come out up here. Let me peel the ears back on that too. Now, I don't know about you, but I love wiring. I love it. It's a game. It's like a chess game. I absolutely love it. Okay, so there's my high beam and low beam. And now I just need a ground wire. How's your week been? Been good? What you been doing? Besides sitting down watching me. Well, maybe you standing up watching me. I don't know. All right, now I'm ready. Let me grab my headlight. See if I can connect it in here without it pulling my wires. Can you hang out right there? Can you hang out up here? Well, where do you want to go? You just, okay. All right. Okay, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, now I want to hit the key over 2 times. And I'm going to just hit a ground somewhere on the head or somewhere. And we should see the light come on. Maybe down here on the tappet block. Okay. My theory is right. Hook my cables back up. We should get some kind of light. Ooh-wee, we do. That's low beam, high beam. All right. We got headlights. And we've already got them out of all this mess. Awesome. Very good. And you switch it to the first position, you have no headlights. Very good. Hey, we're getting it. One obstacle at a time. One hurdle, one mountain, one lump at a time. Okay, our headlight is done. Now, yeah, we got to clean up wires and stuff, but it is out of this housing. We know we got to ground it, and it's going to be good. And we can ground it with some other grounds up in here. I plan to probably, I don't know if I'm going to use that top cap yet or not. The new headlight housing can do the top cap or it can do the pretty cool clamps. So we might try both, see how that works, but that's done. Now what are we going to do with all this mess? Goodness gracious. They're not even going to come out the holes. Okay, like this on this housing. It's wallered out where the bolt goes for the top cap. If you wanted to replace this, you can't. You would have to go up here and undo all the wires in the handle control and feed them through the little bitty hole that's screwed or drilled into this to get those wires out. What are we going to do? So what my plan is take one wire at a time out. All right, let me get a light. Gosh, I can't see nothing. I can't see nothing. Okay, you run down there, and then you run out here, and you go to the right side. So I got one that goes to the left side control, one to the right side control. So that's going to be my power up to my hand controls. And that power is fed right here in my main harness. And then it goes back into this harness that comes out that probably runs to feed power to all of my lights. Okay, I'm tired of fiddling with this. It's just time to get radical. It's just time to get rad on it. Here we go. Tired of monkeying with it. Tired of fiddling with it. Tired of him hawing around. Sometimes you just got to just cut. You've just got to cut. You know what I'm saying? There just comes a time you got to just start over. If I wasn't trying to save on this stock harness and get it back to stock, we'd have ripped all this out and just did our own harness. Whew, okay, that is out. That is out. So we got our right hand controls. And as you can tell, I need to do some touch-up work anyway. Somebody's been in here. They have probably extended the bars, therefore extending the wires. So I want to get rid of all this. This is like athletic tape. Yeah, seems right. Have I worked on this bike? No. I cut this tape off and cut my finger in two on the process. Now this is, to me, okay, this is easier to me to do this, just to work with this. Now I want to go back up here and get rid of all these connectors. I don't know if they're soldered, I don't know. Thankfully, they use the same colors, so that's good. But now that we put stock bars back on, we don't need the extensions. And I want to know that I'm working from good wire. Now, doesn't it already look cleaner up here? It just does. Now, this is going to come out through here. Probably not going to need all of that. Now, our left-hand controls. Let's get these out and see all this garbly goo. We don't need this. You got these two wires that will run into nothing, probably are blinkers. You got this wire that's already deleted anyway, cut that. Then we've got these two that run up to whatever this is on the right side, that's our oil light. You'll say, well, why are they the same color? One's positive, one's negative. It doesn't matter. You run one hot on one ground on the other. There you go. It'll light up either way. And then this is our orange here. Oh, okay, that felt good. So here's what we got. Our right hand controls, our left hand controls, high low beam headlights, and then our, of course, hot going in to the controls. And you can see all this right here, it's gotta go. Because I don't know what's under there. Whoever gets this bike now, the wiring's gonna be right. There ain't gonna be no half doing stuff on the wiring. I've never seen tape like it. Is that like old military tape or something? So there's our left-hand controls, our right-hand controls. So all of these are going to run individual lights up here, warning lights, and you can actually see where they all ran to. So we got this one grounded. We can actually take all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires of each light and run to this ground here with eyelets, and over here too. When we put the headlight on, it won't be an eyesore, especially if we use the top cap. You won't ever see it. So there's some good grounding right there for these two on the triple tree for all 5 of these wires. Then our other wire that's left, we will run what corresponds with each light. So our high-low beam, our oil pressure, our turn signals, our neutral. And then one ran the light for up here. So here will be a hot coming in just for the light when the key's on. Then all these other ones will be fed as the switches work. So the high-low beam, switch, neutral switch, oil pressure switch, turn signal switch. Then of course all these just run whatever switches you push and turn on. Pretty simple. And then here's all of our wires that run back, that feed up. So that'll be like our, our neutral switch, oil pressure switch, turn signals that run back, the wiring for that, power to feed everything up here that needs to be fed, like this light, and our headlight that runs up to our controls, and this one over here as well. So once you get all that garbage off, you can see the simplicity of how it's to be wired. Now I did find these, this Badland switch. I don't know if it's good or not. It's just simple 2-wire and 1 wire out. I've got 4 of these. I believe these are meant to go on here, maybe under here. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I like these better than the big round ones. They look cleaner and sleeker. I just don't know where we're gonna put this dude. We'll put it on there. Duct tape maybe. I don't know. We'll put it on there somewhere and test this out when we start wiring these in. So that's how that's going to work in theory. So at this time, I'm going to start with a control, hand control. So I'll start over here. This is the important side. This has the starter switch, kill switch, and the right turn switch. So I can go ahead, get my power going here. Pretty certain that's that. And then not connect it permanently, but then I can look up in the wiring diagram and start seeing, all right, where's my starter? What's my safety? All this other stuff. So I'm going to go look at the wiring diagram and start tracing, getting power and getting all these switches in the right side working. Then we'll start on the left side as well. Then all that'll be left in this is the power that feeds the light here, which we have here, and also all of our switches, all of our wires that run all the different switches up here that it will illuminate. And so it's pretty simple. I know it looks like a mess right now, but it looks a lot better, I think. And then, of course, we got to put our headlight in over here, run our ground probably to the same place here on either side. The whole front end then should be done. Now, I'm going to wait and not put this in permanent because I can wire this all up, and then when Spears brings the headlight housing, this won't go through it. So, I've learned that lesson before. Ask me how I know, please. Okay, so here's what I did. Went to the bike, went to the right-hand controls. There were 7 wires. Orange, white, red, green, dark brown, black, and gray. Went to the left-hand controls. 7 wires. Orange, white, yellow, green, black, violet, and blue. And I went to the main harness running up to the neck, and I've got 12 wires. Orange, black, pink, blue, red, white, gray, yellow, dark brown, light brown, violet, which is like a purple, and green. So that's all the wires I've got to play with. So now I've got to take the schematics here and find out where these and these play into this. It's that easy. So just kind of like connect the dots. Now the orange, I know, I'll tell you right now, coming from the bike, will connect to this orange and this orange. That kind of powers everything. This is the 91 to 93 harness diagram. And then I wrote on the back of the 86 to 90. I kind of like how this is laid out a lot more simple because it kind of shows, okay, coming from the brake switch, kind of everything runs together here, your orange. So it kind of feeds everything. What I got to determine is, which one am I using? I don't think there's much difference. Right-hand control orange. That goes to the harness orange. I know that because the harness orange is feeding power. That'll be the same for over here. Now the white on the right-hand control. So our starter switch is looped into our emergency stop. That comes out, comes down, connects right here into a white that runs over here to our ignition coil. That'll be the harness white as well. And there's a white on my left-hand controls as well. So I'm looking for a white here, and I got a white in my headlight control here that runs up to my headlight. So the white on this over here goes to the headlight. So now I've got a red on my right hand. I don't have a red on my left. Let's see. Here's the red front brake switch, and it goes into a red. So that'll be my harness red. I don't have a red over here. And that's a front brake switch. It's connected to a orange, which is fed power in. And so when I pull in the brake lever, it should send power out to the red. Runs over here and runs to our white. Too cool. Okay, now we got a green. All right, I got a phone call, and that was Spears. And he's laying it down. But it's going to be a little bit. He's doing it in sections and pieces. So if we don't get all the wiring done this week, it's okay. I did discover this while I was on the phone with him because I like to multitask. Sorry, Spears, but I was listening. Tracing down my right turn signal switch, it comes off here, comes around here, goes from a dark brown to a brown and white wire. Well, from my harness, I don't have any multicolored wires. So that leads me to believe this is an 86 to 90 wiring harness, which is good because this is simple. But now I gotta go and flip this over and make sure I'm still on track for what I've done so far. So thank you for being patient with me. And this is probably about all we're going to get done. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but once we get, okay, orange goes to orange, white goes to white, red goes to here, then it's just kind of plug and play, right? So that's going to be the easy part. This is the hard part. So I got to check this. Orange power in on the right-hand control, orange power in on the left-hand controls. This is a lot simpler diagram than the 91 to 93. So this helps. This orange here runs down, connects to everything. So we're pretty good there. I think our oranges are good. What I need to make sure is our white still runs to the harness white, which runs to the coil. And yes, it still runs to the white, which runs to our ignition coil. So we're still good there. Our red from our harness goes to our harness red to the front brake switch. Yes. Runs down here. Yes, it's still red. Okay. Our dark brown looks like here. That's our right turn signal, runs down, runs back to our main harness here. This is our main harness. Runs back to brown, into brown over here. That runs back here to our right turn signal. So then our dark brown to the harness, dark brown. Our black off the starter switch runs down, runs into black here, runs over here. Bottom black runs over to the starter relay. Black to harness black. And now we have our gray. That should be our emergency stop switch. It runs down here and it goes into a gray as well. That runs up to our ignition circuit breaker. So gray to our harness gray. Okay, so just like that, we have everything on our right-hand controls done. We will have to piddle with the green wire that operates both the turn signal module, and then the module sends power to the corresponding lights, either left or right. Plug and play right into this harness. Now our left-hand controls are all down here. So we've got our left-hand switch, our headlight, and our horn switch. Just these three switches right here. All right, I'm back. My wife brought me some dinner. It's very nice of her. I'm running out of daylight, and this is the only day I got, so this might be the end of our time together this week, but I'll be doing some special things for you since this wasn't, very exciting. They can't all be bangers now, okay? But at least we're spending time together. That's what's important to me. Hanging out together in the shop. Okay, left-hand controls. While I was munching and chewing, I did some work. The orange to orange on the harness, white to the headlight connector, yellow to the headlight connector. Now, one of these two is hot, bright, and dim, but if we just match the wires up, we're good. The green, again, like the green over here on the right-hand controls, goes to the turn signal mod and the light. So we got to see how to wire on that. The black wire coming from the left-hand controls actually goes to the yellow on the harness. So if you look over here, there's a black right here that goes from the horn switch. Runs up, and then when it hits the big connector that runs to the main harness, it turns to yellow and runs down to our horn. Single wire to the horn, and then it's grounded. So don't let me forget next time we're together, because I'm leaving the 10K bike on the lift till we're done with it. That right there. We got to get a horn. Some states require a horn. Here in Tennessee, does not. You just go, hey! And that works fine. Or twist it. That works fine too. So that's where the black goes to. It turns into a yellow. So black, harness yellow. Then violet is to the harness violet as well. That's the purple one here that goes up here, connects in, jumps around everywhere. So it kind of goes all other places too. All that's left now is our blue. So our blue runs off the headlight switch, goes up here and connects to all these other blues, but it's a blue that runs off here that comes, this is the main wire and harness connector here that was inside the headlight. It comes up here and just runs straight to the light circuit breaker. When the second key is switched on, it sends power out there. You'll see it powers up the switch here for when you want to hit high and low beam. But also, once it comes past this main harness here, it splits off right here too. It goes down here and runs down to powers our left front turn signal light and powers right front turn signal light. So we may have to tie in on that blue wire here from the harness to our left-hand controls, power for the right and the left bulb. Now, power for all of these right here come from various different places. So our high beam comes in from the white there. So we got to make sure on our headlight switch, our headlight connector, that coming out of there as it runs into this right here. See how it's connected right here? We're going to connect them back here somewhere. So we've got to make sure to connect in our high beam as well. Our neutral light's going to need power as well, or oil pressure. And then our turn signal light just kind of comes together and works off either the brown, which is our right, or the violet, which is our left. So the blue, it went to the blue, the harness blue. At this time, all we need to do is plug these things together. I will not solder anything together yet until I know I've tested everything on here. So I want to make sure nothing is left off here. I see a pink that we have not used anywhere on here. So the pink wire on our main harness, we probably will not use, but it's there if we have a technometer, but we don't. So we'll probably cap that off. So no, it's not grounded out on anything. Or blue, or red, white, gray, yellow, brown, light brown. Now light brown, and I wish instead of just colors, they would actually tell you, like the old Honda wiring diagrams, the abbreviation and with the little key down here. Our light brown, we don't know what that goes to. And our violet and green. Okay, so everything is accounted for. We will not use our pink. Our light brown, no idea what that goes to. Maybe we'll discover it. So I know this has been a hot mess video. Like I said, they can't all be bangers. And yes, it looks more chaotic than how we started. But this up here is going to be so clean and nice. As far as the footage that I got, I think it's going to be kind of a long video. I'm going to kind of cut it off here and get it all edited and out to you so you can enjoy it. I don't want to miss a Friday 9 a.m. upload. Once the front end is done, our next time together, and I'm going to leave it on the lift, we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, but come back Monday morning, we'll be on it, Lord willing. We're going to start wiring everything together up here and having it look nice and clean. I mean, it's going to look really, really good. The headlight bucket's going to hide where everything comes together, but it's not that many wires really to deal with. I'm not sure why everything was ran into a headlight bucket. So while we're wiring all this up, I'm going to get that Badlands blinker out and see how that's going to work, if it even works. Also, I've got an original turn signal relay module that if that doesn't work, we can wire it in stock. Then a horn, I gotta dig a horn out. Then we can start moving back here and working on the rear. Then once we get everything working and all the switches going where they need to go, then we can start cleaning it up, moving it around, making our solid connections, seeing where we're gonna put this key. I'm thinking up here where they normally are would be the smartest, but clack it in the comments. Let me know where you think this key would be good. I can't believe we got the key working. If we didn't do anything else, we fixed an ignition key on a Sportster. Never done that before. Then we got to work on our front brakes. And I did talk to Spears. He's laying down the artwork and stuff. And then he's got to do the oil tank as well. So we have time. We have a little bit of time. This video and then probably next week's video, I want to have this bike ready. So in the next video of this, which should be next Friday, I plan to have us complete everything and the bike be ready for the 10s and stuff. So I'm going to look for the new motor mount up here that's going to be better for us. I got to find a horn. We got to get back into wiring. So I'll try to have all that for you next time. But thank you so much for hanging out with me in the shop this week. You've been such a blessing to me, and I sure do appreciate it. All of our members, all of our subscribers, all of the people that just watch and comment, and you folks have the nicest comments in YouTube history, and I sure do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And tell your mama and them I said hi.